The coffee was not prepared. I drink the coffee at about like 2 o'clock, even maybe 3 o'clock afternoon. The first coffee that I prepare myself. And the door from the room was open when I went inside of the room. And I stayed inside of the room and I secured the door. That's why I know that the coffee was not prepared, because if the coffee would be already prepared, I would secure the door for sure. And mother, who was in the kitchen, I have to admit, I was jerking off inside of the room. I wouldn't even come out inside of the room, inside of the kitchen, because the mom was here. So she had water boiling, and wouldn't do absolutely nothing about it. This is how bad this stuff is. So the coffee was not prepared. I forgot the coffee, and mother wouldn't do anything about it, which 99.9% of the time she does. This is what is disturbing shit. You boil it, and it starts to boil, and she will go sometimes nasty deliberately to disconnect, so you could not prepare yourself a coffee. She does this shit. But she today observed that the coffee was preparing and the coffee was boiling, but she didn't take time to turn it off, the thing. And then she made it more interesting by not opening the door and making herself even clear to go away from her door, like I'm dangerous or something like that in that sense. It's a huge problem. I wasn't going to put this on the internet. I have a million other videos like this one. And I realize it's a huge problem. The stuff that I do is totally wrong. It's not good, the stuff that I do. I don't put the stuff that I should pertaining to my mother on the internet. And the more that I keep to myself, the more aggressive, the more abusive she is becoming. I noticed the psychiatric pattern. I noticed the police pattern, because she's doing absolutely everything she's doing based on police instructions and based on the psychiatrist instructions. This is what they used to rehearse. For every attack she exercises, she knows exactly her way in and her way out. This is the most trained murderer, killer, or through my mother, this is the most trained killer, murderer, serial killer that I ever know of. I don't know about other cases that people were involved in crime, but I know for my own mother that she does it literally to sicken me. She does it literally knowing that the more I keep to myself, the more psychological damage I endure. Was using psychiatrists, police were using her medical tests to convince me that she cannot last inside of the psychiatric hospital, not even 3 months with the medications, due to health damages she has. And they make sure that they would leave me the paperwork inside of where they push me through the infestation of the moths inside of my room, and they put all the medical records based on which they brainwashed me during MK Ultra about her health damages and such to remember. They had me begging for her life inside of some prison in Ljubljana, where they would bring in me inside of the psychiatric hospital and so on. And I have to say that I noticed this, that there is a pattern that when she commits crimes, she immediately stops when I put her on the internet, when I put the stuff about her on the internet. This is when she is good for several days. But she doesn't do this from the point of view that, you know, let's say that you have a child and it's a bad child and you have to punish one, to remind one to properly behave.
she doesn't do this from the point of view that she would take a note about, like warning, don't do that no more. But she does this well, with intention to cause more harm, more damage, and eventually through the gaslighting together with police, psychiatrists, kill, murder, cause more damage, more devastation. Stress is no good for anybody. You live under the stress. I don't hate myself more than if I live inside of the house, audio recorder not turned on. And I don't hate myself more than whenever she silently comes right from behind me if I am at the kitchen sink or whatever, I'm preparing myself a food, because I could endure a stab, because I could be stabbed with a screwdriver or with a knife or whatever stuff they were doing during MK Ultra. So I don't hate myself more than when I don't pay enough attention to my own safety. That's when I I learned really to hate myself. This is my mother. That's why I said serial killer, murderer, killer who got away with a crime for 54 years in both houses. I should say with a million different crimes. She worked along the way to get me killed, together with the police, with the psychiatrists. I'm going to say, notice that it's not about being warned about, don't do certain things anymore, but it's about basically to tune down, like go like undercover, like for some time, just so that it passes me. And then what she does is she starts again. She starts to load again. And it goes up, and she's increasing this till I cannot take it. And I put some little thing on the internet again, protecting my loving, beloved mommy for 54 years, Joseph Fritzl, that paid bills, they say. She paid the bills. You pay the bills, you pay absolutely everything. That is true. That is absolutely true. However, this is in a complete symbiosis with Illuminatis, with the police, with the psychiatrists that are abusing this situation, literally pushing inside of the grave to get that things going the way they want to get them, basically. The truth that will come out would not even live one day the way they did this stuff. This is also one of the decisions why a million videos like this now is going to come to the internet. She's a serial killer.
Yeah, her gaslighting methods also involve this kind of issue. This is why she's so difficult. And it starts to boil, and she will go sometimes nasty deliberately to disconnect, so you could not prepare yourself a coffee. Sometimes she just go, oftentimes she did, disconnected the coffee when I was preparing myself, and even gesturing me the gas is too expensive. Why do you need it, and this and that, in a nasty way like this? Do you deserve it? We even have this kind of issues. Beyond my belief that she would left the gas stove burning like she did tonight. So the chances that I would predict this type of behavior in Mama that took place on May 18 did not exist. She's a mystery. But a police vlogger. She's a police vlogger. She does it for the police with complete instructions of the police. They know about everything that goes on inside of the house. They do. I was afraid that something like this happened, and it actually did happen in respect to the coffee, burned dish. This is the audio recording right here. Just that my mother didn't know that I have another audio recording inside of the lobby. I don't know how you say that, but on a hallway I had another audio recorder on. And yeah, I really prepare myself and I forget. And it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes, even maybe 70 minutes. 1 hour and 10 minutes is boiling to me. It appears to me that it was boiling. I'm not sure though. I don't know. But I suppose that it was boiling for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe even an hour and a half. Hour and 20 minutes, let's say. I have to magnify this again, but you will hear exactly what I stated to you. My mother literally came out in the kitchen. She stated in a hallway, "What is burning like this?" and failed to disconnect the gas, failed to prevent accident from happening. Let me demonstrate you. Which is kind of weird. I thought that she was out already earlier than that, and I don't have the proof that she was not, but okay. Let me demonstrate you. This is where I go to the room. It's a TV, because this is in a hallway. And then listen. Ugh. She comes out of the room. She says it's stinking. But this woman is insane. Honestly. I screw it up, but she deliberately screwed up the dish. Why the fuck would you do this? I failed, but she deliberately failed. She deliberately let the gas to burn another 20 minutes and the dish to burn completely when it was possible to save one, but she wanted to burn one. So that's pretty sick. I'm going to repeat this again. I'm going to multiply this, amplify, is what I'm trying to say. That she is really not in the right state of mind. Look at this. You know what she says? What is stinking so much? She opens the room and she says, what is stinking so much? Then she goes to the kitchen and she makes the control of everything. And she does not want to stop gas. She does not want to save this dish. She let it burn, basically. So you think that's normal? That's a normal mom? That's not normal, Mom. Normal mom is not doing this shit like this. She walks around the kitchen. She goes in there. You can hear her. She takes the chips from the paper bag. She checks everything. She actually says it's stinking. That something is burning, basically, stinking. And that's all there is, just like this. She grabs the fist of the chips, potatoes, and then she goes back to her room. And she's loud. At this point, I'm sure that I cannot even get to the kitchen, whatever. She eats more of this chicken, chips, I should say, baked potatoes. She came out because it was apparently stinking before she retrieves back to her room to watch the TV. So that's not normal. I was correct about it. Partially I was correct. But the way she answers when I addressed her, she locked herself inside. And I really didn't know what the fuck did I really screw it up so badly. And I did. The police knew about this stuff. This is what is interesting part. They argue with a judge on the court about this issue. And it was established that I wouldn't even be liable for this shit. Here you can hear her how she locked herself back inside. Because Miran Sudin told them it's the fucking coffee maker that every person in this world has. And Mother does not want to buy the fucking filters for the coffee because she knows that I'm being forced to burn dishes like this. Mistakes happen, and that's what psychiatrists, police wanted to use this to prove my being insane. Because you forget the dish on the, like I did today, for instance. So this is part of her work. This is a part of the stuff that she does. And this is the person I actually live with. And that's my mother. Look, listen to it. That's how the coffee went to hell. Kaita kusmardi, huh? Kaita kusmardi. This is the recording right here. The recording is 651. Exactly the recording that you see right there. We zoom ourselves out. I didn't know it's a damn bloody 7-hour long recording it is for the whole day long. But it proves that she's insane. She's definitely crazy. And she faked like that she is scared of me when I came to talk to her at the door. Nasty, she would not open. So she provocates and she does this stuff like this. My own mother. My mother does. If I didn't have that audio recording on a hallway, I would have no fucking proof about it. She's not saint. She's quite insane. That's very bad. That proves that she's just up to no good like this. I'm sorry to say this, but that's very bad. I never would do this to her. I never did this to her. She did shit already. And the only thing I did was I did my best to help her out. But what she did, she burned a dish that costs 10 euros. She threw 10 euros in a trash bin so she could tell the police that I burned the dishes. Actually, the judge, not even the police. Because this whole fucking thing was designed by the police to go to the court. That's how disgusting this stuff is. She's a real failure and disgrace for herself. Cooker, we're gonna say cooker or pan. Boiling water, but wouldn't stop. dish from getting burned. We're just going to do it like this. That's a transfer, and we're going to put it right here. Boom. That's not nice. That's fucked up. That's really, really fucked up. That's a very bad one. But the case is proven that my mom came out of her room. She said, "What is burning? Now, what is stinking?" And would not go and stop it, but just let it burn. Based on what I see here, this took place from what I see, this was a 5:25 time. And then I came out, and that happened about 25 minutes later. So in 25 minutes period, it was all preventable. She could still go and she could save the dish. All she had to do is turn off the stove, and we would have this pan still. It would be useful, good for use and stuff, but she needs this stuff for the court. So she deliberately let this burn on a stove till it actually burned through. So this is my mom. This is the life with my mother. You'll be judged by the mistakes I make, you make. This is the way it is. You will be judged by the mistakes you will make. And you will be judged by how much I will manage to screw you up in your head, which is going to produce the mistakes. And by the mistakes you're going to make, the judge will be judging you. This is evil. That's my mom. She had another 25 minutes. Not 25 minutes, but more than 25 minutes. 30 minutes time. She waited another 30 minutes for the dish to burn. That's not nice. Surely it was preventable. Surely you could save this dish. Now all you had left is basically throw one in a trash bin. Not to mention that the gas was burning for 30 minutes, and that's quite expensive actually. Here's the incident from May 18. I come out of the room where I'm at right now. Inside of the kitchen area, I find a coffee, not a coffee pot, it's just a pot without any water. And how the hell would I say this? Boiling? Now I'm just going to say with a stove on. So we do have a gas here still. It looks like this, and it's still being heated at this point. And I become certain that I already prepared the coffee. As I come out of the room, I was about to drink coffee. However, I made a big mistake. That day, that same day, I prepared the coffee just before I left to the store with my mom. And this is already in afternoon. And go through some really disturbing stuff as I go to the store with my mom. I had a disturbing afternoon. Let's put it this way. Come back. I don't feel good, with tremendous lack of sleep. I turn the stove on and want to prepare myself another coffee. These are the coffees that I prepare, which consist of 1 liter is probably not enough. 1.5 liters, 2 liters of water, and just maybe a teaspoon of coffee. It's not a real coffee. It's not a coffee like you're used to it. This is just a coffee basically to to drink, just as if you would drink water. I prepare myself maybe 2 coffee cups like this of the coffee. I let the coffee sit down, everything. Not using filter because filter is too expensive. That's how my mama says. And it's a copy paste based on MK Ultra brainwash. I drink. They loaded me with the coffee since I was a child. Talking about Kuchan, Golobic, Golob, Pahor. They simply loaded me with tons of coffee. At this point in time, I am not aware still of a lot of stuff, even stuff that I was told during MK Ultra not to do. Like one of the things I was told not to do is exactly the type of coffee I continue to prepare myself. They associated this type of coffee with my heart problems, which is not really the truth. However, Americans over here, they claim that this is exactly the type of problem that creates hypertension, heart problems, etc., etc., etc. However, they did this after it was already way too late for me, and still I did not understood anything about the stuff that went on with me. Nobody really told me, met with me in real time, talked to me about any of that stuff. I figure out that I drink little coffee, almost no coffee, but on the other hand, I get a lot of coffee taste for a little coffee that I drink. And so I continue to drink this all along. Upon return from Poland, I continued to drink this stuff. I started to drink this way, the coffee, once I was in Minnesota. That was in 2000 and was it 2000 and 2009? I would say 2009, 2010. So for the last 16 years, I drink coffee. Whenever I drink coffee like this. I did not drink any coffee in my lifetime till the age, well, I just said till 2009, I did not even drink any kind of coffee. Till I was like 37, I wouldn't even drink any coffee. No coffee, zero coffee, abstinent, complete abstinent in the exact same way as with the alcohol or cigarettes. I never smoked and I never drank any alcohol. So this incident, why this incident took place? This incident took place because police demanded, and they told me they will do this, they will demand this from my mother to do exactly as you see here, so they would have the proof about the way I drink the coffee. See, the thing is, I don't have the problem to explain how I drink the coffee. Now let's go back to the issue pertaining to I gladly will take responsibilities for the stuff that I do. However, you must admit you are fucking insane. You're like on a fucking crazy crime spree here. And I'm talking about the police. I'm talking about the people also involved in this. How would you not meet with a person like this and talk to him in person? I mean, after pushing him through the stuff like this. You don't think that this type of bestiality performed on an individual is not resulting in creation of mistakes? This is probably the only mistake that I created along the way. It might be a serious mistake, I don't know. But I do not believe that this mistake, which I created because of the urge to get going, basically applying a dead end resume application, job application that I was sending in unlimited numbers, sitting inside of those torture cells, and the only thing I had was basically the ability to jerk off and drink coffee as far as the entertainment purposes. And this is a lifelong shit. This wasn't short unemployment, but lifelong forced unemployment. So I gladly take the responsibility for the stuff that I supposedly, it's not even proven that this would create the hypertension that would destroy your heart. I, however, gladly take responsibility for it. So this afternoon I had a rough day, disturbing shit. And it's always whenever I go with mom on a shopping, it's always the police scenario. They lodged inside of our house, both houses. I'm now 54 years old. I'll be almost 55. That means that in 2020, that was 6 years ago, they lodged inside of our houses for 49 years. 49 years. They know everything about me, absolutely everything about me. They had me spend 11 years at least, 24 hours a day. Multiply 11 years by 24 hours. Drugged up, subjected to MKUltra practices throughout the world, and enormously a lot inside of our house where they barricaded themselves with my parents and studied absolutely every habit, not studied them, but literally were creating them. Pushing me food, drinks and stuff down my throat I never would even reach out for in my real life. So let's go back. I have a rough day. I come home. I just want to disappear in my room as I come back home with my mom. And doing so, I leave the water boiling. I go inside of the room. I'm tired as hell. And I said, I'm just going to look something on the computer, wherever I did, for a minute, two, and return back, because this is what I keep the coffee inside of this fucking room, because of her attitude, because you don't know what the fuck is going on. I keep the coffee as the only thing I keep inside of this room. The little pack of the coffee that lasts me, I don't know, entire year or wherever, which is not a normal thing to keep the coffee inside of your stupid room. The normal thing is to prepare yourself a fucking coffee over there and then go inside of your room or whatever, do with it. If it's a kitchen, if it's a family, it's not normal. If it's a shared dorms and stuff, it is normal. But if it's not shared, it's not normal. Normal is to pull the coffee out of the drawer like she does, everything the easy way, prepare yourself. This is the meaning of the home. And so what I do is I totally forget. One thing leads to another. And I decide I have to express myself like this, to masturbate myself. And I do. So forget completely about the water that I still have boiling inside of the kitchen area, with becoming eventually along the way even convinced that, remember earlier I mentioned to you that not too long ago, just a few hours ago earlier, I just prepared myself a coffee. That I already prepared myself a coffee. In my head now is that I never do this stuff, but that day it happened to me. One thing led into another, and boom, what happens is I spend inside of the room 1 hour. I come out of the room after not 1 hour. Sorry, I am inside of the room for 1 hour. I don't even know how much time I spent inside. And I hear mom inside of the kitchen. I hear my mom inside of the kitchen, but altogether I think I was 1 hour and a half inside of the room. I come out and I'm ready to drink the coffee. Certain basically that the coffee is waiting for me, and this was after 1 hour and a half. And as I come out, the coffee pot is still on a heat, without, just the way you see it, anything in it. I know that my mom was inside of the kitchen. I go to her door and I try to talk her out of the room so she can explain to me why didn't she at least turn off the coffee. Mom, however, knows how much I fuck it up, and based on the police instructions, would not stop the coffee when she was inside of the kitchen. Nor would she open the door to talk to me about it. She says to me through the door, "I smell something bad it was." And deliberately doesn't want to open the door. She is bawling at this point and boiling me basically because she knows that this is not the way to communicate with anybody. And this is what she always does. She locks herself inside a room basically and fuck off. This is her system. So I go inside the kitchen and I'm full of conspiracy theories right now that the coffee was ready. I'm actually sure that this is the fucking coffee here, because I'm being brainwashed during MK Ultra that by mom, by the police, and by mother. My mother claimed me that during MK Ultra that she's gonna come in the kitchen and she's gonna see a pot like this. And it wasn't a pot like nowhere near like this during MK Ultra that she would be showing me. The pot during MK Ultra that she would be showing me, I did not even understood. What the fuck are you saying? I said. And she was showing me a pot where there was obviously some deposits left of the calcium. And she had to actually show me and told me during MK Ultra, when I see this, I will just let it burn. That's all I gotta say. This was a mama during MK Ultra. The Igor Yurcic had a different position. They demanded this position for mom to do simply so they could get the proof about this kind of stuff that I explained to you about how I prepare the coffee. That I prepare myself coffee like this. I put the 2 liters of water inside of the pan. Then I load coffee. Once it's already done, when it's boiling, then I throw 1 teaspoon of coffee and then basically add a little bit of milk with it, and I drink that stuff basically. So what happens right now is I'm not sure even what the fuck happened just right now. This dish is so fucked up also that I'm assuming now that the coffee was there and that, I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck to think about this stuff. That maybe that at first, I'm not thinking about what went on during MK Ultra. I'm just completely in shock, like a cat, basically with the hair up. I am guessing, not guessing, but I see all kinds of conspiracy shit that went on lies they loaded me with, and coming with all kinds of wild theories up. I'm mad because I know the mother was inside of the kitchen, and she should have disconnected this fucking gas stove. She didn't. She just let it burn. She just let it burn. What the worst part about is she doesn't even want to come out of the room and talk to me about this stuff. Would absolutely not do that when I start to talk stupid shit that has nothing to do with the reality. In other words, whenever I create a mistake, what they would do, the police, therefore, they multiply this mistake. And make no mistake about one thing, this isn't a mistake what I'm going to say to you. They know absolutely everything that goes on inside of the house. And it was completely indifferent with this gas stove. The way it burned, the way the mama came out, making noise out there, and went back inside of her room without even touching the gas stove, based on the police instructions. But I know so because the next day, when the mama comes out of the room and I confront her about this issue here, just basically letting me the coffee, not the coffee, but the water, boil and boil and boil till all the water was evaporated and just covered with this thing. Evaporated and basically dish burned deliberately. She has an answer ready. This is what fucks me up the most in this whole incident. She claims that she did turn it off. What is even more impressive about this stuff is that you're gonna see me talking about this kind of stuff. What is even more impressive about this police surveillance, based on which mother, even that I'm using an audio recorder and certain cameras and logging everything, is the one who is a police logger, is the fact that when she comes out of the room, she loudly says that something is stinking, burning, and pretends like she goes inside of the kitchen and actually does something about it. This is what is the most fucked up part about this incident, and it's all based on the police, with Jurcic, who claimed me that I would even have to make sure that I get some kind of proof that the stove was still on when I come out of the room. This is what is the most fucked up part, because by doing that kind of stuff, you can actually prove the man is either completely insane or that he is a pathological liar. And I am none of the two, but my mother is. As I told you, she's a serial killer. And I refer to her as a serial killer because of the million crimes she implicated herself into. It's a totally by the police surveillance implemented and enforced crime. Make no mistake about it. For the rest of it, I'm just going to refer to this video here, and that's all there is to it. Yes, I'm sure that if she did disconnect this water, the pot would still be in one piece. But what is the most disturbing part about this is not that the mother didn't disconnect the thing. The most disturbing part about all this stuff is that you can hear her coming outside of the room saying that something is burning, stinking, whatever, and doing nothing about it. With Maya actually coming, trying to talk to her, yet she stays locked inside of the room for a good period of time. I was trying to talk to her. I don't know how many times I came back because I was completely disturbed. The thing is, I didn't even know what went on. I didn't even realize the coffee was not, that I didn't prepare the coffee. I was completely out, in a shock, confused. And she wouldn't even open the door. Because my theories that I came up with was so wild, crazy. Sure that I actually prepared myself a coffee, and even that she turned on the gas stove back and stuff like this. That's crazy. And that's exactly what I came up with. I came up with the crazy stuff. I admit, I never came up with the crazy stuff like this yet. I did it. But the thing is that she wouldn't even bother to talk to me about. So that means that she knows exactly when to talk, when not to talk, and also, more than anything, what to say. This is a complete crime. This is a total complete crime, which demonstrates that mother is not stupid, but she is, indeed, she was and she is a police computer. A computer. She's doing a crime with computer precision, with the precision of the computer, with the precision of the clock of the watch, because she does have police watching the whole thing. She knows precisely what to say to come when she comes out of the room, and she knows precisely what to do and what to say the next day. This is actually state-of-the-art crime that mother exercised together with the police. That she does. And this is the person I actually live with. And that's my mother. Look, listen to it. That's how the coffee went to hell. This is the recording right here. What is stinking so much? You can hear her as she comes out of the room. What is stinking so much? The recording is 651. Exactly the recording that you see right there. We zoom ourselves out. I didn't know it's a damn bloody 7-hour-long recording it is for the whole day long. Yeah, I by the coincidence have left audio recorder inside of the hallway due to we went shopping and I wanted to have the record of if anybody enters home and that kind of stuff. And so forgot when I came back home that this recorder was still on, and got by the coincidence the proof that I personally left at this time inside of the room. Mother already was inside of the room. So this is a 4 hour, I don't know, is it, let's say 50, 40, 30, whatever. Let's say at 4:30, no, not 4:30, but at around at 16:05, let's say, that I went inside of the room, and mother came out. After 1 hour and 15 minutes, she walks out of the room. Yes, I know. Most of the coffee pots, if you leave them for 1 hour and 15 minutes boiling, would be on fire, probably. Right? But my coffee with a 1.5 liters, 2 liters of water inside was not. Who the hell knows? It might have been even my coffee pot that was maybe empty at that point. I do not know. If I go what my mother was demonstrated to me during MK Ultra, if you remember when I told you, there was just a little trace of something they had to demonstrate me, show me, because I didn't even understand of not the chloride, but the sediment that you have seen. That's a calcium that is inside of the water, right? So, but you can see here in my case, the shit that you see inside of my case is actually is actually gives you the idea how much water was inside in there. Because you were able to see just how much of that calcium deposit was inside in there. And what she does is she does not disconnect the shit. She is done doing this stuff and she goes nicely back inside of her room. And it's when I finally come out. Yeah, well, that's why it's a little bit difficult for me to even believe this stuff here, because this is, I would say, 5:25 and 5:25, and then I come out at 25 minutes. That's 25 minutes, 25 up to 30 minutes later, I come out of the room, and what I find, this pot still on a ring, still with no water inside, boiling. So I don't know whether those 30 minutes did make a difference or did not make a difference. In my opinion, if this coffee pot would be unplugged 30 minutes earlier, it probably would make a difference. But for the problem's sake, for all that other stuff's sake, was it really worthy to not open the door to me and talk about these things? And I mean, as a matter of fact, was it really not worthy to turn it off, the water, and knock on the door and say, why did you leave the water on the stove? You forgot, and so on. Fucking insane, because you know why? How many times did I caught her doing this shit? She burned the little pots, the little coffee pots, and sometimes I went on and I saw it. Many times I turned it off. I don't do this stuff. I live with the person that does shit like this to me, and I live with the person to whom I always look forward to assist. You see, the way I'm thinking about is insane. The way I'm thinking about is already what I did wrong, what did you not do wrong, and this and that. I don't have any trust with her. Simply because of what I explained to you right now. When I see that she leaves it on or something like this, what I do is I go and I make sure that I do whatever I'm supposed to do. And I stop that, I warn her, and what I end up was even throwing away the little coffee pots or whatever, because she burns them and then she wants to use them again and stuff like this. I'm worried for her as far as health, but it becomes evident that she's something completely different. A person I live with, I don't even know, really.
Communism is a mental illness. Communism is a mental illness. It's a sickness. My mother have definitely proven this to be a mental illness. It's a sickness. Communism is about the worst mental illness that ever existed. She cannot do better than this to your own son. I am 54 years old now. And I will not forget Josip Broz Tito when he told people, we are doing this to one of ours. We're not doing this to yours, to your kind. We're doing this to one of ours. That's when I was theirs. That's when I belonged to the communists. I only belonged to the communists whenever it was to tell that other side to fuck off. That's about the only time I belonged to the communism. This is the worst mental illness ever. And it is the most violent, the single most oppressive thing, the social order there is that ever existed in this world. It's the worst mental illness that there is. Never anything was worse. Hardly can believe that my mother is taking advantage of me when I get about 3 hours of sleep a day. That's disgusting. And there is no such thing like mistakes, misunderstandings. This is extremely well-trained serial by the police, by the psychiatrists, by the professionals that do this stuff, by the professionals who deal with this type of stuff, broker crime, investigate crime, and deal with the crime, individuals. She is a serial killer trained by the people, like I said, who deal Broker, investigate crime. She's well trained. There's no misunderstandings. There's no mistakes in it. She is a computer. She's a machine. She's not a human being.